We'll now get started with the presentation. I'll introduce Jim, who will give us an introduction. Thank you, Jim.
I'll remain seated, it's probably easier for this presentation. Thanks for coming along, and I have to say this is probably a bigger crowd than the Albion's had all season. But I'd like to start off by telling you about the current financial position and why we're here today. As you know, the club was formed in 1945, and for 35 years it survived with debts, but manageable debts. By about 1982, the club were in severe financial difficulties and approached Stirling District Council at that time. The club was sold, as you know, to the council and leased back, and in return the Albion also received £175,000 to allow professional football to continue. The club remained in a neutral position until around about 1990, and from then on losses started to occur to the extent that there's now a £1.5 million deficit. The debt is in two parts. It's a personal loan from the chairman and a bank overdraft. The next slide will give you some of the reasons why we believe that we're in the position we're in. And the first thing was that the plastic pitch. While it was the first in Scotland, it was a trial, and the SFA did not buy into it after the 3-year period. And of course we had to play cup ties away from home, so loss of income there. Many fans didn't take to the plastic pitch and drifted away, of course. When we moved to Forth Bank, because it was no longer viable to run Anfield on a plastic pitch, well, it was in the middle of an industrial estate, very difficult to get to. Anfield was 5 minutes from the town centre. If you'd been in the town for a pint or whatever, you could walk down. Forth Bank was just so much more difficult. We attempted full-time football. I think we'll all agree the football was fantastic. Under Kevin Drinkle, we probably saw some of the best football ever, but it was never viable for a club like Stirling Albion. And I think we all know that the commercial activities of Stirling Albion aren't exactly to be desired. By around the year 2000, football was getting into difficulties, and supporters were getting concerned, and Supporters Direct was formed. Stirling Albion became the trust was formed in 2002 for that very reason, and we did approach through the former chairman Dick King there, and we had meetings with Peter Mackenzie and the other board members. We were well received, it has to be said, but at the end of the day Peter didn't feel there was anything that the trust could contribute to the running of the club. As we know, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've heard rumours about consortiums wanting to come in. There's been rugby teams supposedly wanting to buy Forth Bank. The trust felt, well, we'll take a back seat if Peter Mackenzie has someone interested in buying. We don't want to be seen as the obstacle. We've no idea if some of these were genuine or not, but we ended up in the position we are now that Peter had put the club on the market, and as far as we can see, there were no takers. I think it's fair to say that Peter Mackenzie wants to move the club on. He wants a local entrepreneur to take over and to leave a legacy for the future of Stirling Albion. But there is no white knight out there. We've realised that. We've looked around, we've searched. We know that there is no genuine interest that we can find in the Stirling business area. So we decided it was probably time that we, the trust, did something. So I'll now pass you on to Stephen Leeper, who will take you to the next stage.